Okay, so we are going to talk today about arithmetic sequences, but before we do that, really quickly, when you plot that scatter plot in number 1, it should end up with what kind of correlation? No correlation. There's no correlation between the data. And what does that mean when we say no correlation?
No meaning.
There's no meaning, there's no relationship between the two things. All right, when you graph a scatter plot, you should not connect the dots because the scatter plot is just distinct points of data. In graphing, would we call this discrete or continuous? Discrete. Discrete means separate data points. So I saw a lot of people on the test, or the quiz, I forget what it was, the quiz, a lot of people put discrete when it was actually continuous and vice versa. So remember that if it is distinct data points, that's a discrete graph. Continuous would be like if you can draw it without picking up your pencil, all right, because you go continuously. So a lot of people mix that up on the quiz, so just be careful with that. Okay, so what is a sequence? What is a sequence? Yeah, in order, right? There's some kind of order to something. So a sequence is something where we talk about it in mathematics. It's a list of numbers that often forms a pattern. So a term is a number in a sequence. A term is like one number in a long sequence of numbers in a long list of numbers. All right, so we have a set of data up here, and it's in Spanish because for some reason the English one in the book was really small, so when I expanded it, you couldn't read it, so I used the Spanish version. So tiempo and distancia means time and distance, right? Okay, all right. All right, my high school Spanish has not failed me. So tiempo and distancia is our two pieces of data here, and we want to see if there's a pattern in the sequence above. So obviously in the time section, it's just going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I want to look for a pattern in our distance data. So does anybody see a pattern in the distance data? Alejandra? Yeah, you're adding 0.2 every time. Very good. So this is a sequence with a pattern of adding 0.2. And what we're talking about today are arithmetic sequences, which means that they go up by a common non-zero number. So what that means is non-zero would be not zero, so any other number. All right, and the sequence is in an arithmetic sequence if they go up by a common or they differ by a common non-zero number. So take a look at number 1. Number 1 here says 12, 8, 4, 0. That is going in an arithmetic sequence if it follows the same pattern from one to the other. So is there a pattern in this sequence number 1 to go from 12 to 8, 8 to 4, and 4 to 0? What would be that pattern? Minus 4. So we would say that yes, this is an arithmetic sequence. And then negative 4 is what's called our common difference. Because we're going minus 4 to get from each data point to the next. Does someone have a question? Are we going to say something? Okay. All right, so that is an arithmetic sequence because the common difference is negative 4. Now, is number 2 an arithmetic sequence? I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. All right, so number 2 goes 1, 4, 9, 16. Is that an arithmetic sequence? No. Why not? How do you get from 1 to 4? Plus 3. How do you get from 4 to 9? How do you get from 9 to 16? Plus 7. So this is not an arithmetic sequence because is it the same number that it's differing by? No. So this would be not. Yeah, there is no common difference. All right, what about something like this? What would be is this an arithmetic sequence, yes or no? Yes. What would be our common difference? Plus 3. All right, plus 3 is our common difference here. So the arithmetic sequence is yes, and it's a common difference of positive 3. All right? All right, what about this one? What about this one? No, this is not an arithmetic sequence. It's not going up by the same thing. Okay, it's not going up by the same thing, so we would say no, it's not an arithmetic sequence. Good. Okay, so you guys go to your boards, and I want you to do these 6. Find if it's an arithmetic sequence. If it is, just write the common difference. Okay, so arithmetic sequences increase by a common difference. If they're going to increase by a common difference, that means we're talking about going up by addition or subtraction only. If it increases by multiplication or division, we call that a geometric sequence. So a geometric sequence would be like what is this increasing by? Times 4. Okay, so this is a geometric sequence because it's increasing by a multiple of 4. So it's multiplied by 4 to go from one to the other. So arithmetic means it's going up by addition or subtraction. All right, so up or down by addition or subtraction. Geometric sequence means it's either multiplication or division. So for example, this one, no. It would help if I did the math correctly. Would this be arithmetic or geometric? Geometric? What are you multiplying by there? It's arithmetic. What's the common difference? Plus 6. So the common difference is plus 6. All right, so it's an arithmetic sequence. All right, what about this one? What about this one? This one is geometric, and the rule would be geometric, and it would be divide by 6. All right, geometric and divide by 6. Okay. Now, what if I told you, given this sequence below, find the 10th term in this sequence? How would you do it? So it's plus 7. So then what would you do to find the 10th term in the sequence? Yeah, you would keep adding 7 until you get to it. So 5, 12, 19, 26. What would come next? 33, 40, 47, 54. That's the 8th. 61, 68. Here it is. So the 10th term in the sequence is 68. Brendan? God, it's like I planted you in the audience. Brendan said, what if I told you to find the 100th term? What would you do? You would keep going. That would be very annoying, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be handy if there was an equation that you could use, that you could plug things into to find the 100th term in an arithmetic sequence? Yes, it would be. Okay, there is just such a formula. It looks like this. Okay, so it looks very complicated. It is not actually very complicated. So this has finding the nth term in an arithmetic sequence. What does it mean when we say nth? No, it does not mean ninth. N means any number. So find the any numberth term of an arithmetic sequence. So 2nd, 32nd, 54th term, 87th term. That is the nth term would be any of those. So the formula is a sub n, which means that's the nth term, equals a sub 1. What do you think that means? The first term plus n would be the term that you're looking for, minus 1, times d, where d is your common difference. So yes, that is a lot of variables, but you should be able to pick them all out. So again, n is the term you're looking for, a1 is the first term, and d is the common difference. So let's say I give you this. 3, 6, 9, 12, excuse me. And I say find the 51st term. All right, what is your A1? A1 is 3. What is your N? 51, because that's the term you're looking for. What is your D? Plus 3. That's all you need to know, and then you just plug it into this formula. So again, the formula is AN equals A1 plus N minus 1 times D. So AN is what we're looking for. A1 is 3 plus what's N? So 51 minus 1, and the common difference here is what? 3. So plus 3, I'm just going to write 3 because I don't need the positive sign. Okay? So equals 3 plus what's 51 minus 1? 50 times 3. What do I do first? 50 times 3, which is 150, and 3 plus 150 is 153. 153. So if we had kept going and listing those numbers, that's what we would have found out. This formula, though it looks complicated, is going to shorten the time a lot on that. Angel? Plus 3 is the common difference. So 3 plus 3 gives you 6. 6 plus 3 gives you 9. Common difference is whatever you guys just found on the board. Alejandra?
I just noticed that if you like, this is just a suggestion. Like, if you don't want to do this equation, even though, like, do we have to? Is it necessary?
What's your other suggestion?
Because I just found out, like, for n, we have 51, and then, you know, a1, the first term is 3, and when you multiply that, you get the exact answer without the equation. Or is it just...
And then you have to add 3 back to it, right?
No.
You got
If that were 1 times 3. A1 times
51 times 3 is 153. That works for this one. Man, that works for this one? That will not work for all of them. Okay, that does not work for all of them. That's like a weird thing. All right, so this formula, you do not need to memorize it. I will give it to you on tests or quizzes. All right, you will have it on a test or a quiz. You will not need to memorize it, but you will need to be able to use it. So how would I do this one? How would I do this one? This is the one we just did, so I'm going to change it because we already know the answer for 10th, and I'm going to say 20th. Go ahead and try this at your seats. Okay, what is your N? What is your N? Your N is 20. What is your A1?
5.
Your A1 is 5. And what's your D? 7. All right, so when I plug that in, I've got 5 plus 20 minus 1 times 7. What's 20 minus 1? 19. What's 19 times 7? 1 what? 33. And I add those together and I get 138. Good. Okay, questions on how to use this? Yes, Angel. If they do not have a common difference, you could not use this. Yeah. So this only works with an arithmetic sequence with a common difference. Yes, Brendan.
I was thinking, to make it easier on yourself, what I was just doing, since you just minus the 1, can you just set it up as 8 plus such and such times?
19 times 7. Yeah, if you could you mentally do n minus 1?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So if you'd rather mentally do n minus 1 and just plug in 19 right away, go ahead. Just don't forget to do the minus 1. Okay? Yeah, so you absolutely can do this part that's in parentheses in your head. You do not need to write it out as long as you remember to actually do it. Angel?
So, do you still follow the minimum? Like,
Yes.
do parentheses?
Yeah, because if you're doing 19 minus 1 in your head, that's doing the parentheses first in your head. And then you would still do 19 times 7 first. So yeah, you still follow order of operations. If you want to do that step mentally, you can. You can also do all of it on a calculator. Okay, so you can just write it out in one long string on a calculator. Yeah, as long as you put it in parentheses. It'll do order of operations for you, as long as you put it in correctly in the parentheses. Okay, questions, comments? All right, so I want you guys to do then, find the 15th term of a sequence if A1 equals 7 and D equals 3. Who can tell me what the formula would be for this particular one? So it'd be AN equals, what would my formula be? 7 plus parentheses 15 minus 1 times 3. Good. 15 minus 1 is, so I'm going to do 14 times 3. 14 times 3 is 42. 7 plus 42 is 49. All right, nice job. Okay, so at your boards, do these 6. You guys might want calculators. Sorry, 7? No, 6. You might want calculators. Also, read carefully. This is your A1. Here is your D, and here is your 14. There's your N is 14. But if you look at the 15 and 16, this says A38, which means what's your term that you're looking for? 38. So that would be your N right here. Okay? This is your N right here, and here is your nth term. So you might need to plug it in a little bit differently. Okay? All right, go ahead and try those 6.